a year ago, maybe, I was like, I will never do Chat GPT. I will never input anything into this because I don't want to feed the beast and this freaks me out. And then I started using Grok and I was like, this is amazing. It just planned my whole trip like to Hawaii with my husband and me. This is awesome. But now I am already seeing like people who work with me or like a product that I'm buying, I ask like, did you write this or
Hmm.
was this Grok? And I don't want something that was just, copy and pasted from Grok. I want the human fingerprint on it. When I see artwork, when I see a video, when I see a company, I want to know like, are humans working on this? Am I talking to a human? It, to me at least, it's already gotten to the point to where I think like the next stamp on a product or a company will be made by humans instead of
Mm.
made in the USA or whatever, made by humans. And I will be more likely to work with that company or that person than I will the company that says powered by AI. I'm not saying all AI is bad. I just like human beings and think that there is a special spark and touch that they put on everything that I don't want to lose.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, the Wall Street Journal had a big deep dive into one mom who weaned her and herself and her child off of ultra processed food for a month today. And I don't know if you saw it, but this translates across the board. It's like beyond food. I feel like people are
Yeah.
realizing there's ultra processing in our communications technology, ultra processing in our politics and our bureaucracy.
So true. Yeah, that's such a good point. I think a lot of people are like, okay, how can we just get back to the basics? Like, not even how did our moms and grandmothers live? Because I can think of a lot of things that our moms and grandmothers did that were not Maha at all. They helped
Yes.
us in some ways get into this mess, but like, I mean, I think a lot of people are even asking, like, how does God want us to eat? Like, what does
Hmm.
the Bible have to say about like what is healthy? I'm not saying that Christians are obligated to follow ancient Israel's cleansing laws, but I think a lot of people are like, okay, give me something simple, give me something real. How do I know that what I'm eating and the people that are making my food really care about my body? And that's all interconnected with not trusting doctors too.
Yeah. How have you changed that in your own, like, as you're going about feeding yourself, feeding your family, thinking about what's healthy involving screen time and AI? Just since you mentioned 2020 changed this for so many people.
Yeah.
For you, how has that changed things? How do you do it, basically?
Yeah, I would say how we eat is healthier for sure than how it
Yeah.
used to be. Now, not perfect, but I cut a lot of things out of my life that just have never been introduced. And now I actually feel like I can't tolerate a lot of the processed food that I was eating before. We do our best that we can with our kids, prioritizing protein and trying to cut out the processed stuff, but we're not the fun police. We do allow them to have like a cookie and birthdays and like and things like that. Our kids don't do, and unless it's a very rare case of like being on a long flight and they can watch a movie or something. We don't do. I've got three kids. They don't do iPads. They don't do phones. I was at a park the other day and there were these 8-year-old kids, and the one of the kids told his dad, "I lost my phone," and the dad was like, "What? You lost your phone?" And I'm like, why does your kid have a phone? He's 8 years old. And so I think that is like very prevalent. I know for us, it's going to get harder and harder as they get older. But gosh, I think also the longer we go and we see the damage that this kind of technology causes, I just like, I want my kids to be smart. Like, I want their brains to work, you know?
Mm.
And most schools today, private Christian schools included, use iPads in the classroom and starting in kindergarten, 4, 5-year-olds are using iPads to read ahead. And so we had to search and look very hard for an education program for our kindergartner that did not use any technology, and it was tough. We found it, but it was tough. That's also a big reason why a lot of parents are homeschooling right now.
Totally, because it costs money and it ends up, being much easier for people with means and people who have less means to find that place, may be able to make a drive in some cases. It's so It's so sad. And I wanted to run this quote that I caught in Roger's newsletter just from one of his recent diary entries the last couple of days. He's quoting another thinker here who wrote, "A radical separation of the body from the mind leaves Christians who think in that way especially vulnerable to deception from AI and digital culture." And then I think this is Rod goes on to say, surprisingly, the death of God did not lead to the death of spirits. A demythologized cosmos did not lead to the end of myth. Disenchantment instead led to reenchantment via a maze of successor ideologies. And this is what I really want to finish on here. And it is so good. He ends that quote by saying, "and DIY spiritualities." And it is now fall. An elderly gentleman named Bruce took my pumpkin spice latte instead of his cortado at the local Starbucks the other day. And I've been recovering ever since. But a lot of people are now like going into fall mode and dusting off disgusting Ouija boards and whatever else. And that's serious. And I don't know, Allie Beth, there's been this, there also seems like as we're seeing more people go back to church, whatever it is, we're also, I feel like, seeing more people do astrology, more people go to psychics. They're both kind of happening at the same time.
Yeah. And also, I think that I think women's self-help, even in the Christian world, is like a form of astrology. Like, I feel like Christian women
are we getting into the Enneagram?
use
no.
Well, I'm not completely wholesale hating on all personality tests, but I do think a lot of women use the Enneagram, but also use like the let them theory and girl wash your face and lean in and untangled or whatever Glennon Doyle's, I forget, untamed, whatever Glennon Doyle's thing was.
She's very much tangled.
Yes, as a form of like mysticism and incantations. And thankfully for the Christian spirit, like enchantment is real and the spirit world is real. All of the people that you cited today do realize that, and that is a good thing. There is good, there is evil. C.S. Lewis said there is no neutral ground in all of the universe. Every inch has been claimed by Christ or counterclaimed by Satan. And one day Jesus is coming back and he will win and he will claim victory once and for all, forever and ever. But until then, Satan is doing his darndest to take as many souls and to take as much joy as possible. So it's always going to be a battle, no matter what the statistics and the studies say. And we're in it. We get to be happy warriors for things that are good, right, and true.
Why do you think this is particularly appealing to women right now? Is there something for I mean, actually, if you go back to spiritualism in like the 19th century, the women were kind of at the center of that too. Mary Todd Lincoln, perhaps most famously. But what is it do you think appeals to women about those trends?
Yeah, there is a passage, I believe it's 1 Timothy 2, might be 1 Timothy 3, one of those passages where he's talking about the end times. In the end times, people will be lovers of self. They will pursue passion rather than pursuing God. And the people who peddle these kinds of ideologies, I'm paraphrasing, but they sneak into homes and manipulate weak-minded women is basically what the text says, who are always learning but never arriving at a knowledge of truth. And oh my gosh, if that doesn't describe the new age and astrology and so much of self-help, a new program, a new thought, a new thing, a new incantation that's finally going to help me liberate my inner goddess. And it's capitalism's fault. It's the patriarchy's fault. It's your dad's fault. It's your boyfriend's fault. But once you release all those toxic people from your life and you find out that you're really beautiful and perfect the way you are, then everything will fall into place. That doesn't work. They read the next book and listen to the next podcast. It goes on and on. It goes all the way back to the garden. When Satan asked Eve, did God really say you can be like God? You can have the power and the knowledge and the wisdom that God has. It's all inside you. And that lie has been tempting women ever since.
Did you know that all chips and fries used to be cooked in tallow up until the 1990s when big corporations switched to cheap processed seed oils? Today, seed oils actually make up 20% of the average American's daily calories. 20%! And recent studies have linked seed oils to metabolic health issues and inflammation in the body. But Masa decided to do something about it. They created a tasty and delicious tortilla chip with just 3 ingredients and no seed oils. If you buy a bag of these chips and you look on the back. It's right there. I couldn't believe my eyes the first time I saw it. Truly 3 ingredients: corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. And it's delicious. They taste incredible. Masa is crunchier, tastier, and sturdier than other chips, leaves you light, satisfied, and energetic with no crash, bloat, or gross, sluggish feeling afterwards. The beef tallow makes the chips much more satiating. Really, it does. So you won't find yourself uncontrollably binging and still feeling hungry afterwards. Personally, I actually can't choose my favorite flavor of the Masa chips. I really like the churro flavor. I really like the lime flavor, but I also just really like the regular flavor. And I do buy these because I really do love them. They're so good. I brought them on a recent trip with my parents. They're delicious. So if you're ready to give Masa a try, go to masachips.com/afterparty and use code afterparty for 25% off your first order. That's masachips.com/afterparty and code afterparty for 25% off your first order. Great deal. And if you feel like ordering online, that is fine. Starting in October, Masa is actually going to be available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket. So stop by and pick up a bag before they're gone.